We're live on the floor. We just had an amazing session. I'm joined with our very own Rafael. How are you, sir?
How you doing, Dan? Thanks for having me on.
Good, good. Well, check out his management company. Affinity is fantastic. They provide incredible services here in South Florida. Rafael, we just had an awesome panel. Amazing moderation. Thank you so much for all the questions. I had to sit there a little bit, and I was like sweating it out. I'm like, is he gonna get to me, or what's gonna happen here?
It's not easy being up there.
Yeah, man, a lot of the pressure on us. We don't do these things daily. This is just, let's call it a hobby, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you do a regular show, so tell me about what inspired that show, and what type of information are you trying to give to associations?
Yeah. So, Dan, our world, association management, there's so much going on right now. From your side, from the insurance side, there's so much going on with regulation, with changes specifically having to do with the Surfside bill. So right now, our focus is really to how can we disseminate this information for our board members, not just for our clients, but also prospective clients, so that they can understand that, look, these are the changes. You need to work with the right organization that's going to guide you and walk you through this process. Because the changes are ever changing. No different than technology that's moving at a light speed. Same thing's going on right now with all the changes in condo associations, both from building safety perspective as well as from the insurance perspective.
No, it was an incredible opportunity to be squeezed between a bunch of politicians and hear what they say. Honestly, it was probably the panel of my favorite politicians, if you will, in South Florida. A few of them. So it was those that are actually literally on the ground trying to make an impact. They were all directly impacted by Surfside in some way. So it was incredible to hear from them. First off, the questions obviously were on target. There's so much talk going on in Tallahassee. You've been doing an amazing job of providing kind of updates on that stuff and as an outlet. And what are you most concerned about with this upcoming this legislation session? Let's say worst case scenario, what do you think is going to happen?
Worst case scenario, right now, from my understanding, there isn't much that's going to change. Let's say that's going to positively impact our associations in the sense of many board members believe that they're going to change the deadlines for the reserves, and that's really the biggest impact. While the milestone reports are important, phase 1, phase 2. The biggest concern for us is, okay, the reserves, how much are they going to give any more time than what's currently there? So right now, they have till the end of 2024 to have the reserves fully funded. Right now, there is a bill that's stating that they don't have to have fully funded reserves, if they just have to get up to what their reserve study states. That will provide a little bit more space and not have that pressure. But our biggest concern, not that we don't want it, but it's more of, man, the timeline is very tight. You're talking about associations. You have your high rises that have their reserves, but you also have those associations where they have fixed income individuals. And trying to go from, let's just say, around $500 to now fully funded or get to what the reserve study says, $900 a month, that's a significant increase. That's almost, for some people, that's almost another mortgage for them. So that's the biggest challenge of what we're having to deal with. And also certain board members are still they still haven't accepted the fact that this is real.
Not at all.
We have.
Actually, I love the way you say it. It's definitely like the false reality, right? Like they can't really make us do this, can they?
So, as I said when I was moderating, we have about a 60-40. 60% saying no, that we're going to wait, and we're trying to explain. Listen, you can't wait. We have limited amount of engineers, limited amount of contractors. And like anything else, supply and demand, if you wait till the last minute and contractors and other buildings are doing the same thing, it's only right for the contractor to say, okay, I'm limited in scope or limited in time. I need to charge more if you want me to put you up higher up in the totem pole. So what we're recommending is you need to take action now, because even if something did change, let's say out of the blue there was a bill that said, okay, we're not going to require it. You didn't do any harm to the building by having an inspection done, by having a reserve study done, and you can start communicating this to your residents, and that way that pressure is not solely on you as a board member to have to bear alone. You need to bring in your contractors to communicate that information.
Yeah, and I think shortly after Surfside, as I mentioned up on the, we were having our panel discussion just a few minutes ago, that you were moderating here at the LBA Expo. It's phenomenal. I mean, if you could just see the crowd behind us on the other side of this with a fireside chat. We thought it'd be interesting to bring people like yourself here, have a one-on-one conversation, breakout little sessions, if you will. Something I'm hearing a lot from associations is, again, as I noted, is like, are they actually going to make it? So, like, have you explored the repercussions of not complying? What should board members fear for not doing it?
So yeah, Dan, that's a great question. I mean, what we're looking as an organization is, if the associations, at least that I can say that we're working with, if they're not going to comply, we're going to have no choice but to make a business decision. We're already starting to have some of those conversations in the coming months, and the same thing goes with even associations that we're looking to obtain. If they're not going to take the necessary steps, then it doesn't make sense for us to work with them. Because ultimately, the responsibility, or what our legislators are going to do, they're going to pass the responsibility to someone, whether it be board members, management companies. And as a business, we're feeding hundreds of employees within our organization. We're not going to put ourselves in a position where if an association decides not to do what they need to do, that we're just going to go with it. No, that's not the way we're going to do business. So, we're trying to really educate. That's why we're taking that platform of the webinars that we work with you a lot on.
Yeah, of course you do.
And we're taking that platform so that way we're communicating, and it's not something out of left field to them.
No, I think that's actually a really good, interesting. I didn't even think about it. Like, where your service providers are going to be selective who they work with. Because you don't want to be part of the lack of compliance, right? Then because you're going to get splashed all over that you're going to be part of that headline, right? Correct. So now you're talking about a limiting factor as who's actually willing to help you, let's say, break the law, if you will. Yeah. So then you have a limited number of service providers. It's just compounding the issue that you're going to have with your association. And then I think what associations sometimes don't think about when they try to cut corners is that what it costs to come into compliance.
That's correct.
In the future.
That's correct.
Well, Rafael, this has been amazing. Right here at the LBA Expo. Thank you so much for joining us. Just want to have a quick chat with you. We're just going to keep doing these breakout sessions all day long today, Rafael. Check him out again online, Affinity. What's that website?
Yeah, managedbyaffinity.com. And Dan, as always, thank you for having me on. Keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely doing an amazing job providing that insurance information that's much needed with all the changes that are going on. I mean, it's been insane. So thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. Really tough here. Well, we're going to wrap up on that note. So thank you again, Rafael. Thank you all for coming out, man. Take care. Awesome. This is great, man.